We heard from Sajid Javid, who was, of course, the Chancellor in the run-up to COVID and then returned the following year as Health Secretary. And he was talking about who was really in charge of the government during the COVID pandemic and was pretty stark in his assessment that the person running the country was not the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, but Dominic Cummings, who he said sought to act as a Prime Minister in all but name. And it was him and not the elected Prime Minister who was really making the decisions. This is what Mr Javid told the inquiry this morning.
It was clear that in Mr Cummings, the Prime Minister had picked someone that he had decided to, for whatever reason, to trust with a huge amount of responsibility and power. And many times I felt like that many of the key decisions were being made by Mr Cummings and not the Prime Minister, in a way that I had not seen with any other Prime Minister, certainly that I had worked with. If there were situations where, in particular, if Mr Cummings wanted something to happen or had a particular view on a policy or initiative, I would know about it, my team would know about it, and if I had an issue with that or wanted to question it or had a different opinion, it was hard to exclude, but also many times I could block it and stop it from happening, or at least delay it until I see the Prime Minister.
And Sajid Javid said this was a dysfunctional government and he had big concerns about the way it was run. We're going to hear this afternoon from Dominic Raab, who was the Deputy Prime Minister and, of course, stepped in to run the country when Boris Johnson was critically ill with COVID in April of that first year.